Alright, here we go at the beginning of a new video. So we're gonna go ahead and pull the oil pickup tube off of this Focus. I literally brought just the bare essentials, including the views. That is an essential to me. So we have a 2.0 here, and from what it looks like, everything is still here. It has the pan on it, so we're gonna go ahead and pull this pan off, grab an oil pickup tube, and finish the Focus when we get home. So I'm gonna show you guys how we remove this oil pan. Right here, here's the transmission driver's side. Going to the left, oil filter. Right here is your pry spot. You're gonna get a good screwdriver and you're gonna hammer it in, because from here, I think it's like, looking at it, probably goes down about this deep. You can get in here and not be hitting this surface. Literally this sealing surface stops right here, right at the end of this bolt. So we're just gonna get in here and pry. We can go pretty far deep, and then we're gonna pull down and get that out. Okay, and then we're just keeping this on the side so we're not gonna mess it up for anyone else coming by. And yep, pretty much got it pried down. I think it's almost as much as I'm gonna get it. Yep, just like that. Pulling down on this side and wiggling at the same time. There we go. Bam, you need an oil pan, it's right there. And then this right here is our stock pickup tube. I think there's two 8mm holding it in, if I'm not mistaken. Automatic and the manuals are the same. Make sure you turn it the right way. I just tightened this one on accident. For my kit, something that's oil resistant. And there we go. That's our pickup tube for the Focus. That's all you gotta do. This one's out here at You Pull and Pay in Denver. I can't really get a good shot of the cylinder walls, I don't think. Cylinder 1. Cylinder 2. Yeah, not that good of a picture, but cylinder 3. I guess I'm doing it the wrong order, but cylinder 4. Looks like the sleeves are pretty good. So, also Dylan. Passenger control arm right there. And spindle assembly. They're pretty cheap here. And if I'm not mistaken, and get in here for you. Yeah, I guess the bushings are decent at most. Yeah, it'll work. So Dylan, if you want that, it's here. Oh, is this an SEL? Oh no, it's just an SE. But it does have the black interior. Looking clean. If you want a black interior swap, door panels and all, it is all in here and looking fresh. Automatic, so doesn't look like it was in an accident, I don't think. So there's a good chance that this transmission's bad. Yeah, pretty good chance that transmission's bad. We're gonna go ahead and leave this thing. I got everything, including all the extra bolts that I need. And make sure I didn't leave any tools. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and walk all the way to the front and make our way out of here. Day 6 is starting to get long. So it is very, very hot outside. Went ahead and got the 2.0 oil pickup tube for the Focus. And that, oh, I got my flashlight on. And that is right here. I also got the bolts for it. And there's the second one. So, bam, we were jacked up. There's a lot of oil into the car because it's been sitting overnight. So we're gonna go ahead and put in this oil pickup tube, and that way we can go ahead and get some oil pressure and pick up from the bottom of the pan. Now I do have a trick that I want to show you guys. Pretty much a flour sifter, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. We use this on coolant. You can see what came out of it. It was old coolant, and we're going to do the same thing for the oil. I'm going to clean this out with some water real quick, wipe it down, and then we're going to use this when we're putting in our oil in case anything got into that oil overnight. Yeah, that way we just don't get anything bad in the engine. So I'll be right back once we put this in the car. Here we go. Oil pickup tube is back in the car. It is pretty ridiculous. My flashlight isn't working because I think my phone's getting too hot. So I'm just gonna re-wipe this down and scrape it again. I still feel a little bit of silicone RTV on it. We'll put the pan on with silicone, tighten this down, and then we'll use this old oil right here in order to fill it up with the sifter so we don't get any bad particulates into the motor. And make sure that you flatten it out pretty good. Don't put too thick of a bead on it. And then you're gonna let it sit for about 10 minutes and it'll get kind of tacky. And that's when you want to put it on because it'll still be kind of thick. And the goal is to have pretty much a gasket. You want it to look like a gasket when you're done. So I'll show you the results as soon as I'm done wiping this down. A little bit extra on the corners and we're done pretty much. And I will show you my tightening pattern so that way that this won't leak. And yeah, you can make it look perfect if you want to. Go around the outsides. I don't know if you can see what I did, but I ran my thumb along the side and it kind of gave it that little lip right there. And that lip is going all the way across. That's how you want these pans to be when you're doing them. All right, let's let it tack. So for the fact of this still not running boost, more than 7 pounds of boost, I'm really wondering what we're really gonna do because it keeps blowing out once it hits that 7 pounds. And I think honestly that it's probably just due to the low compression in that one cylinder. Everything would be coming out and then I drop the crank, bearings, pistons, and then hone out that sleeve and then put in some new rings. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of in order to pick up the compression except for reseating the valves and checking for bent valves. So I'm just really wondering what we're gonna do. I really do hope that we get somewhere with it. Most importantly, I want it to be able to hit 12 pounds of boost again. And you know, at least get a little bit of life out of it while I'm saving that money to do the 2.5. Because we do not have enough money. I'm doing this all on the mechanic work I live off of. I'm paying for an apartment. And I want to be able to, you know, afford that 2.5 block. Yeah, in order to put that turbo setup in and, you know, just start rocking with it and see how it goes. Just those 2.5s, you know, they're really, really good. And so get a cheap rod for it and, you know, see if I can do 300, 350. The car is pretty light and good chance, you know, that or the car is able to run, you know, maybe a 12-second pass, high, low 12s on 300, 350 horsepower. I think the top speed in 4th gear is like, it's almost it's 110 or 120 or something like that. And it doesn't have a limited slip. It still has the posi track or whatever it is. It only gets power to one wheel once the wheels break loose. And that's not gonna work for what we're doing. I'm trying to get that car to hook, you know, so I can hopefully get like a, you know, at least under 2-second 60 foot. And get the car to really, really hook up. To get a Torsen diff or a form of a diff that would be good, a better clutch, and put my injectors in, turn the turbo up. Pretty much running on stock axles. Those axles are actually pretty good that they're in there. I've never broken an axle, and I've done some crazy wheel hopping before. And they are street tires. They're pretty wide, but never ever, even with the best hooks I've ever had, I've never broken anything inside of it. So once we're able to save up some money and be able to get this stuff in order to make the Focus at least a 12-second car, then I'm gonna be taking this thing out. So what we're gonna do now, I think that's pretty tacked. We'll go ahead and check it. Yeah, it's pretty tacky, but at the same time, I definitely want to let it dry just a little bit more. It came up, but it also is getting on my hands a little bit. So we're gonna let it tack for a couple more minutes. It's pretty hot out, so it shouldn't be too long. So we're going. Oh, it'd probably help if I put the baffles in first. God. Cat. Okay. So we got the baffles put back in. So what we're gonna do with this is we have the oil tube right here. We got the tube facing the front. We're gonna put the back in first, and then put our oil pickup tube up. And we're gonna put our pan. I'm gonna sit here on the side, and I'm gonna go as straight up with it as I can. Once the back side starts to seat where I want it, I'm going to slowly press it on and get it straight and tap it up, move it back a little bit. There we go. We're getting 2 bolts. We're going to hold it in, and once we tighten it up, it'll seat fully into place. Our oil tube at the same time in the front is also going in, right? Go all the way down to the end of the bolt, hand tight almost, and that way it's fully seated. The other one. And all I'm doing is I'm holding the pan up as well. So there we go. Got that. So I got the front bolt on the pan, and the back bolt on the side of the pan. So front bolt on the side of the pan and back bolt on the side of the pan. And that's it. Now that we have it, we're going to go ahead and tighten it down. As I said, we're going to tighten the side ones down first, pretty snug. We're not going to snug them all the way. I'm just going to give them a little turn, that way they can still budge. And then I'm going to go from the passenger side all the way to the front in a cross order. So we'll go front, back, from left to right. Here. So we got our dash 10 drain. Hayden welded it in the exact same spot, so it's really well set up where it's sitting. Got one more wider. Was it sitting on there the best? Okay, I'm gonna loosen it up, face it where I want it. A little out. Just like that. So just a little bit of movement in this line, pretty common. So as long as these two are flush all the way at the top, we're gonna go ahead and put in a drain plug.
Tighten them with a pair of pliers or something.
Yeah.
I think that's all it needs.
Gotta love stubby head bolts. Brand new drain plug is not a bad thing. The other one was loose on the old pan, so I'll consider it an upgrade, I guess. Pretty much you just get it to snug. Careful with these cheap oil pan bolts. Yeah, so you get it to snug, a couple pops, and it won't come loose again. Can't find my funnel. So pretty much what I've done is where I cut it, I'm just laying it right on the side of the valve cover up to that coil. As you can see, it's pressed in there. It's pretty tight, can't wiggle it. So just sitting there, this is in, so we're just pretty much filling in. As you can see, it's at a weird angle, but we're just gonna be filling in from the side, just like that. So we're putting everything in here. All of it. Bam. We got oil, boys. There's no leaks under it. I'm so stoked. Looks like it caught a couple of pieces of rubber that were in the oil pan, and that's about it. Or maybe something that when I was scraping the block got in there. But for the most part, I'm really doing really good at filtrating all that oil going into it, and I'm so stoked about that. All right, here's the biggest part of it. Where's my oil at? Before running, right on the full mark. Pretty hard to see. As you can see, it's dark and then it's silver right past that. So it's right before the full mark. We're gonna go ahead and lower the car down real quick. Well, we'll start it. You know what? We'll just do that first. We'll start it and then we'll double check to see if we have any oil leaks down underneath it. What's going on, guys? So pretty much we're definitely going to be tearing down this motor. With the fact there's 120 compression in one of the holes, I think honestly our best bet is to check the ring gaps and the hone in the cylinder wall. Pretty much when I lost power, I was hitting 13 pounds of boost, or about 12 and a half. And the motor was running really good. It was strong. And then during one of my second passes, I turned down the boost control a little bit. I saw it a little lean. So I turned it down a little bit. I found out that's not a good air fuel. So just a little bit. Got down to 12 and a half, and it evened out to about 12.0, 11.9. And during that power pull is when we lost pretty much enough power to bring it down to 7 psi. And it has been able to get past that point. That's probably what happened. I think it's cylinder 3. That's down to 120 compression, hot compression, wide open throttle. So pretty much what we're going to do, we're going to tear it down. So this will be pretty much one of the next videos. We're going to cut this video here. I think honestly, we're going to just go ahead and get straight into how to turbo your Duratec from scratch. We're taking this whole setup apart. We're going to show you how to put it back together. We're bringing it back, guys. So be prepared. If you really want to get your Duratec turboed in your Focus, any model, this guide is going to show you how to do it from scratch, half of the price of what it costs for an FS Works turbo kit. So I think honestly, this is what everybody's been asking for, and we're going to go ahead and go about it. So we're going to go ahead and tear this whole entire thing down and go from the beginning, and part 2 of this series is probably going to rock. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and give them the gap, don't get clapped. We'll see you later.